I built 5 working AI tools in 7 days. These are not startups, not app for customers. These are internal tools that replace real workflows in my business. One of them finds product ideas from real complaints on Reddit. Another one tests those ideas using multiple AI agents for market and money. One analyzes my entire YouTube channel from a spreadsheet. One replaced the SaaS I was paying for in 45 minutes, and one now runs my entire affiliate campaign from one dashboard. None of this required a development team. None of this required funding. And this is what happens when you stop thinking in terms of product and start thinking in terms of leverage. So let me show you exactly how this works. And to be clear, I'm not talking about building startups, raising money, or launching polished software for customers. What I want to show you today is something much quieter and much more practical. Hey, this is Neil Napier, and today I'm talking about building exactly what I personally need, exactly when I need it, using wipe-coded software that lives directly inside my own workflow. These are not products, they are internal leverage tools. And once I crossed this line, my relationship with execution changed permanently. For a long time, every software idea I had followed the same frustrating pattern. I would notice a bottleneck. Then I would either delay dealing with it because it wasn't big enough or justify hiring, or I would try to explain it to a developer, wait weeks, test, give feedback, and repeat this. Most ideas never even made it to version 1. They died in the waiting phase. Over time, I realized something uncomfortable. My business speed was not limited by my thinking. It was being limited by translation and dependency on other people. That's when I stopped thinking like a product builder and started thinking like an operator. An operator who just wants that friction removed. So instead of asking, is this product worthy? I began asking, can I remove this bottleneck today? And that single shift is what led me into wipe coding. When I say wipe coding, what I mean is this. The moment I feel friction, I describe the solution in plain English language. I generate a working tool using AI. I test it immediately, and if it doesn't feel right, I wipe it and regenerate it without emotional attachment. There are no specs, there are no meetings, there is no waiting. It's just signal, heard, result. And once you experience that kind of speed, it rewires your entire expectation of what's possible inside a business. Let me show you a few real examples just from the last week, because this is where it stops being theory and starts being very uncomfortable for traditional workflows. The first tool I built solves a problem I've had for years. Consistently finding real product ideas that are based on actual complaints, not guesses. What I wanted was simple. I wanted something that could scan places like Reddit and other public communities and extract what people are actively frustrated about, cluster those complaints into patterns, and turn those patterns into potential product ideas. So I described what I wanted in plain language, built it, and within a short time, I had a working internal tool that now feeds me structured product ideas based on real pain, not brainstorming. From there, I hit the next friction point. Coming up with ideas is one thing. Testing whether they're actually viable is another. So the next tool I build takes any of these ideas, or even ideas I manually input, and automatically runs them through multiple AI agents. One agent tests for market demand, one tests for financial viability, one tests for competition saturation. If any of them fail, the system doesn't just reject the idea, it actually generates improvement recommendations so that the idea can be repositioned instead of discarded. That alone used to be weeks of manual research and second guessing. Now it runs automatically in the background. But then I realized I was still stopping too early, because even if an idea survives that filter, I still don't want to build blind. So the next layer of that same system performs deep customer research. It builds detailed customer avatars, desire mapping, objection mapping, awareness levels, and emotional triggers. And once that's done, it automatically generates the initial copy, positioning, and even early design direction. All of that happens before a single dollar is spent on development or ads. That entire multi-stage system didn't exist for me 10 days ago. Today, it's just part of my desktop workflow. Another example is much more simple, but equally revealing. I built a YouTube channel analysis tool for myself. I simply upload a spreadsheet of all my channel data, views, retention, CTR, titles, thumbnails, and it analyzes everything. It tells me what's working, what's underperforming, what patterns I keep repeating, what I should do more of, and what I should probably stop doing entirely. What used to be intuition and guesswork is now structured feedback. That tool doesn't make content for me, it makes my decisions cleaner. One of my favorite examples is actually the smallest one. For a while, I was using a tool called Whisperflow, which I loved. It costs about $15 a month, and it solved a very specific daily workflow problem for me. One day, I realized something strange. I didn't love the tool because it was revolutionary. I loved it because it did one small thing cleanly. So out of curiosity, I rebuilt the same function for myself. It took me about 45 minutes to get it right. Today, it runs on my own machine and costs me about 1 cent per day in compute power. That single experiment permanently broke my attachment to monthly software as a service for simple personal workflows. Now I'm pushing this even further. One of the tools I'm currently experimenting with is an entire affiliate campaign operator that runs locally from my desktop. From one dashboard, it can generate a full blog article, a video script, emails, and ad copy for the same campaign. No switching between different tools, no stitching together workflows. Everything launches from one environment. Now look, I'm not saying this is perfect, but I am saying that just a year ago, something like this would have been a multi-person operation. Now it's a personal system I can start whenever I want. And this is where the definition of team starts to break down. Traditionally, when output increases, you hire more people. When complexity increases, you manage. When volume increases, you add layers to the entire system. But when your execution layer becomes software, scale behaves very differently. One operator with the right motivation and right internal tools can move faster than an entire department that still runs on meetings, hands-off, and manual repetition. Not because the person is smarter, but because the system does not get tired, confused, or distracted. At the same time, I want to be very clear about where I draw the line. I do not automate relationships. I do not automate real sales conversations. I do not automate trust or judgment. Those stay human by design. What I automate are the mechanical parts of the business that were never meant to absorb human energy in the first place. My goal isn't to replace people, my goal is to remove friction so people can do the work that actually matters. What surprised me most about this shift is how it changes your relationship with ideas. Before, most ideas felt heavy. Now they feel light. You stop thinking in terms of someday, you start thinking in terms of later today. You're no longer trapped in the cost and timeline of perfection. You're operating inside speed and iteration, and that's a very dangerous position to be in if you're competing against businesses that still need weeks to test what you can test in hours. This is why I don't actually think the future belongs to people who start traditional software companies. I think the future belongs to people who assemble private software stacks around the way they personally think and operate. Purpose-built, internal, hidden from the market, and quietly more powerful than most public tools because they were never designed to appeal to anyone else. If you're watching this and you've ever thought, I wish this part of my business just worked automatically, I want you to reconsider something. You no longer need permission to build leverage. If you can describe a workflow, there is now a very real chance that you can build a tool for it yourself. Not perfectly, not forever, but well enough to start winning time back immediately. And that's really the point of all of this. White-coded development isn't about being a developer, it's about collapsing the distance between intention and execution. It's about removing the artificial delay between this is annoying and this is now solved. If you like this video and want more, please like and follow to get updates when I release new content.